Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Keelan and welcome to the channel. It is a nice, beautiful morning here in Little Old Wales. I hope it's looking nice where you are. You know, whatever time of day you're watching this video, I hope you're having a good day. But today, I'm going to be diving into Blender. And you can follow along with me if you wish, and we're going to create this 3D mug. And so let's start by creating a new file and let's get started. Okay, so here we are. We've got the start of our project here, and throughout this entire tutorial you'll see there's a little area down here where all my key inputs will pop up every time I press something. So if I don't explain it too well as I'm going along, feel free just to look here and you can see exactly what it is I did. I'm using a mouse and keyboard for this. If you're using a mouse trackpad or if you use a numpad, things might be a little bit different, but we can always use the options up here too. You can follow along in many different ways, but let's just dive in and get this on the go. So I'm going to delete a starting cube, press Shift A to go ahead and create a circle. We could start with a cylinder, of course, but I'd like to start from scratch here, and we're going to reduce the vertices down to around 11, maybe 9, because we are going to smooth this cube over using modifiers later, so we don't need too many vertices right now. And so I'm going to tab into edit mode, make sure you've got the vertices selected with 1, press A to select them all, and then press F to create a face. Press 3 then to tab into face select mode, and we're going to press E to extrude this up. Now you can have a cup as tall or as fat or as short as you want, depending what cup you're making. I'm just looking at the mug on my desk, and I'm gonna make it. So now we want to create the pocket where the liquid will go. Otherwise, it's no good to us otherwise. So in edit mode, select this top face, and I'm going to press I to inset. And I think about there will do. And then we want to extrude this down inside to create that cavity where you put your tea or your coffee or whatever it is you like to drink. But before we do, click up here to go into wireframe mode just so we can see how far down we're going. And then press E, and I think about there will do. Okay, now we're going to go back into solid view. And this is looking good. We've already got most of our cup at the ready, but I need something to hold on to, a nice handle here. So I'm going to initially create, so make sure I'm in edit mode, I want to create some edge loops, and this will give us some nice faces here to extrude out to create our handle. So while so press Ctrl R to get the edge loop cut tool, and then scroll your mouse wheel up to increase the amount of loops that we create, and then just click, and then right click to automatically center your cuts. And then from here we can press 3 to go into face mode, and I'm going to select these flat edges here and just extrude these out just a little bit, and that looks good to me. And then next we need to complete the curve, so you could go into side view here and then extrude, move it a little bit, extrude, rotate, but this would take us quite some time and it's a bit finicky. So what we're going to do, make sure you have your face selected, going to go into side view here, and then what we can do is hold Control and right click, and what this is going to do, this will just extrude to where our mouse currently sits. So we're looking for like a nice curved shape, so I'm going to bring it up ever so slightly, out over here, in down here, and then back up here. Maybe there. That's not too bad. And now it's just a matter of completing the segment here. So before we do connect these surfaces, I want to remove these inner faces, because otherwise having faces inside our shapes can cause some trouble later down the line. So make sure you've got 3 to select faces, click, hold Shift and click again, press X and faces. This removes our faces, and now we can go ahead and press 2 to go into edge mode, click on this edge, click on this edge and press F to join those up. and then we're going to do this all the way around. F. And then we're going to do that again. Whoop. And there we go. Cool. And now if you was going for a sort of, you know, low poly approach to this, then, you know, you could, you know, you'd be done essentially. Add a bit of color maybe, but I'm going to make this a nice smooth cup. So I'm just gonna move these out a little bit. If you hold Alt and click, you can select this entire edge here, and I'm just gonna double tap G just to spread these out a little bit. GZ to move it down a little bit, just to add a bit more of a natural shape before we carry on. So how are we going to smooth this out? Because right now it's an incredibly blocky looking shape, and even though you could drink out of it, you might cut your lip on some of the corners here. So I'm going to go into our modifiers, and I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier. And now we've got more of a teacup or coffee cup looking thing going on here. But I want to smooth this out a little bit more, so maybe just throw it up to a viewport of 3 at the moment, and I want to create more of a cylindrical look to this to match the cup that is sitting on my desk. So I'm going to tab into edit mode, and in order to create, you know, more of this symmetry, you know, to add those, you know, more hard edges, what we need to do is press Ctrl R again to add in more edge loops. And you can drag this up, and you can see how this is creating a harder line for us. And I'm going to do the same down the bottom here to really square those off a little bit. I think that looks good to me, but we are losing some geometry inside this, you know, inside the cup too, and this edge is a bit thin for my liking. So I think I'll go back into edit mode, Control R again, and put an edge loop in here. Bring it in just a little bit, and about there. Looks good to me. And also, if we press Alt Z, then you can see we've got like a bowl thing going on here, and you know, most cups I've seen don't really look like this. So what we need to do is in edit mode, press 3 to go into faces, and click on this bottom face, and just give it a bit of a, oh wait, have we got the right face here? Just make sure it is this top face and not the bottom face you select in there, and then press I to add a little bit of a inset, and this creates more of a squared off look, and that looks good to me. Press Alt Z to go out of X-ray mode. X-ray mode, just in case you're not familiar, lets you see right through your object inside, so you can make those fine adjustments. And now what I want to create is that little indent in the bottom of the cup, you know, of the mug that you normally see on your kitchen mugs. And we're going to do the same again. Just click on this bottom face, and just inset this just a little bit. Okay, and then from there, because that gives a nice flat edge, I want to extrude this up. And you can see, because we're extruding just a little bit, it can be like a bit jumpy. So what you want to do is hold Shift, and this gives us more of a gradual motion with our extrude, and that looks good to me. So for the most part, we're done. In terms of general topology and the shape, I think it looks great. We can increase the viewport to really smooth this thing out to around 6, so we can't see those little, you know, poly shapes. But let's add some color and maybe a bit of lighting to this scene, so you can really, you know, have a nice good image of this mug. So first of all, let's add a material. Go to the material tab, and I'm just going to call this material mug. I'm going to go for a, what color did I go for? I think it's like a purpley color. Oh, and before I forget, up here, make sure you are in material preview, otherwise you won't see the color changing. And let's go for like a deep bluey purpley color. Okay, that looks good to me. And also, you know, on the bottom of of cups where you've got that ring. I know they always seems to be white where they've sort of missed the color. It's going to be intentional, but I want to just tab back into edit mode, make sure we're selecting faces, select all the faces here, and I'm just going to create a new material. I'm just going to call this rim and assign it to the selected faces, and this will give us that nice white edge to add that little bit of realism and definition to this design. Alright, I love it. Now you could end it here, you know, if you wanted to. I think you're pretty much done. If you wanted to have a really good look, if you tab into your rendered view, it really shows it off quite nicely. But there's some extra little details we can do, such as click back on our mug material, we might want to reduce the roughness down to around 0.2. This gives us a little bit of extra shine, you know, to really get that sort of reflective look going on. And I think let's set the scene a little bit. So you're going to learn a little bit how to, you know, set up a little bit of lighting and background here now. So I'm just going to press Shift A to add a new mesh. I'm going to select plane, S to scale, and then scale it by 20. So I'll just type 20 there, and let's change the color of this plane to a nice orange. Let's have a look, like a deep reddish orange perhaps. And then which way is my front view? This is the front view, so tab into edit mode on this plane, 2 to select edges, select both these holding shift, and then E to extrude, Z to make sure we fix to the Z axis, and then maybe 20. That looks good to me. And I don't want these hard edges, so that's quite easily fixed by tabbing into edit mode again, 2 to make sure we're on edges, hold shift, select all 3 of these edges, control B to bevel, and then roll your mouse wheel up to create a lot of extra vertices in the middle to get a nice smooth gradient on this backdrop. And now you've got a nice little lighting area to play with. So what I'm going to do is initially is add Shift A, lights, area light, G, Z to bring this up. Let's scale it up in the light properties and then give it around a 1200 in wattage. Okay, that's looking quite pretty. Some nice lighting going on. I want to move this light over here, maybe Y, G, X. Maybe give this 1200 also, and I want to make it a bit more of a towards the pinky purple area, because with the orange it adds this nice little glow. And then perhaps click on this light, Shift D, and move one behind it just a little bit to add, you know, more of a nice glow behind the object too. Okay, I like the sort of scene we've got going on here. Perhaps move this up, make it a bit bigger, just so we're hitting more of the scene, increase the brightness. It's looking good. Now I just need to bring this camera over here, rotate on the Z axis initially just so it's in the general direction, and then what we can do is click this camera icon, and right now this isn't looking great, nothing is in frame. So we're going to press N, view, lock to camera view, and then you'll find as we move the camera around, the camera sticks to our general viewport view. So that is looking cool to me. I'm going to untick. That looks good. I like what we're working with here. So now let's perhaps just rotate this out just a smidge. Just get like a nice viewing angle, and you could play around with this as much as you liked, really. I think I kind of want to have a bit more color with this scene, maybe this, yeah, oh, I like that, a bit more, you know, vibrant, really adds a little something that I am digging in this scene. And I'd like just to skew this object to the point where you can just see the base, maybe a bit less. You know, just all I want is, you know, just a nice scene, little, you know, nice little viewing angles, a little bit of tone on the bottom here, and maybe increase our focal length, and lastly, I'm just being fussy at this point. You can do whatever you like, but then what we can do is, when you're satisfied with your lighting, I know we get a little bit of shadow flicker, but that will soon disappear because we're going to go into our render properties. We're going to switch the render engine to cycles and wait for it. Boom. Now we've got this pretty, almost like realistic lighting effect going on here. And then depending on what device you have, you can render with your CPU or your GPU. GPU tends to be the quicker of the two. If you've got a graphics card that's, you know, pretty good at doing its job. And then when you're ready, you're happy with your scene, press F12, and this is going to render out your scene. Oh, you can see, so I've forgotten something here. We just cancel that. In our modifiers, make sure you apply your modifier and then render your scene. I'll just speed this up for you quickly. And there we have it. This is our complete cup. Now what I want you to do is go to image, save your file as, wherever you want to save it, and tweet me. I want to see your finished projects. So tweet me at Kilo's Design. I love to see who's been, you know, actually, you know, doing some of these tutorials and joining in and practicing these skills and just creating, you know, beautiful things. And that's that. So until next time, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.